Woof woof.
Today I wanted to talk about a recent moment that I witnessed in Delhi. And it kind of encapsulates what Delhi is like.
Dilli, 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 Dilli.
I had to pass through Delhi to go to Rajasthan. I had to spend a night there. Coming down from the hills, I live in Nainital, so I had to come down from the hills, spend a night in Delhi and then carry on to Rajasthan. But I tried my best to avoid it. Maybe I could spend the night in Agra or in Bharatpur, because the idea of coming to Delhi, somehow fills me with dread. I was not always like this. I actually enjoyed living in Delhi once, but that was a very long time ago.
Dilli, 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 Dilli.
So I tried to find an alternate route, but in the end nothing worked out and I had to spend the night in Delhi. So there I am driving alone from the hills down to the plains and into Delhi. Leaving the hills is not fun anyway, but leaving the hills for Delhi is even worse. And there's country music playing, and country music, of course, only exists to make you even more sad and more melancholy than you already are. And it was working.
Just dismal thinking on a dismal day.
As you approach Delhi, the landscape also drains of color. Everything becomes this uniform grey. And it couldn't be a greater contrast than the hyper-saturated colors of the mountains in wintertime. So by the time I got to Delhi, I was almost depressed. There were some peeps I was meeting for dinner, so I called them up and they said they were at Select City Walk.
I do the same thing I told you that I never would. I told you I changed, even when I knew I never could.
Now personally, if there's one thing that I find worse than being in Delhi, is being at a mall in Delhi. I don't know why, but these places make me so uncomfortable. They are like these shimmering islands of phoniness in the middle of all the gloom. And they're playing music like Drake, the Kid Laroi, and people are just walking around pretending to be in another world. It's just like they're walking around drugged and buying rubbish. And the most depressing part of a mall is the food court. The food court has all these glitzy counters and these fancy menus which show you all this stuff, this wonderful food, but they're basically serving you tripe. I told my friends that there's no way that I'm coming to Select City Walk. And we negotiated about where to eat for a little while and finally settled on Khan Market. Khan Market is, of course, synonymous with privilege and entitlement.
VIP area.
But I thought since it was 9:30 in the evening, Khan Market would be kind of empty, only the restaurants would be open, the shops would be closed, I would get parking easily. So as I drive into Khan Market, there's this big obnoxious sports car playing loud music right in the middle of the road. There are 2-3 SUVs around it, and there are PSOs moving around, personal security officers, so obviously some big shot. And they've completely blocked off the road.
To be famous is so nice.
And I had to wait a few minutes, and then finally I got in and got parking. My friends were still 10 minutes away, so I thought I'll just walk around Khan Market. I was feeling pretty bummed, leaving the hills and coming to Delhi. And in the back street of Khan Market, I found these kids dancing, They were playing music and they were dancing to this music. They were busting moves while people were just walking around doing their stuff. And they'd kept a little cardboard tray for anybody who wanted to give them money. So some people were standing around watching, most were just passing by, and some people were dropping money into that tray. And these guys were really good. And I noticed to the side, there was a guy leaning on a crutch. He was standing there and he had been begging with a bowl in his hand just a moment before this. And now he was standing and watching these guys dance. So as their performance ended, this guy on the crutch, he walked up to these kids and said, "Bahut sundar, bahut sundar." And he took out $10 from his begging bowl and put it in their cardboard tray. And he said, "Tumhe is langde ka salam." Not many people were there, so not many people noticed this moment. But when I saw that guy walk up and take out money from his begging bowl and put it in that tray, I was just like, wow. No matter how much you dislike a place, it always gives you something to love. And I think that holds good for people too.